Hello everyone. In the last video we have discussed till states of matter. So in this video we will look into the effect of change of temperature on the states of matter and units of temperature. As we all know, we will measure the distance in terms of kilometers, meters and centimeters, and mass in terms of grams and kilograms. Similarly, the even temperature is also having some units in which we can express the temperature. So if you look into the units of temperature, there are Fahrenheit, Celsius and Kelvin scale, but the most frequently used units are Kelvin scale and Celsius scale. So first here we will look into the units of temperature in terms of Kelvin scale and Celsius scale. Actually, we have to learn the conversion between the Celsius scale and Kelvin scale, because sometimes it will be given in Celsius scale and we have to understand in terms of Kelvin scale, or if it is given in terms of Kelvin scale, we have to know it in terms of Celsius scale. So we will look into the conversion also. So the conversion between the Celsius and Kelvin scale is, if the temperature is given in the form of Celsius, then in order to convert it into Kelvin scale, we will add 273.16 to the temperature which is given in Celsius scale. So the resultant temperature which we will get is in the Kelvin scale. So here you can see the relation that temperature in Kelvin is equal to temperature in Celsius plus 273.16. So if it is given that in temperature is given as 10 degrees Celsius, so in order to convert it into Kelvin scale, we will add 273.16 to that. So 10 degrees centigrade Celsius will be equal to 283.16 Kelvin. So next is, can matter change its state? In the previous one we have discussed that different states of matter are solids, liquid and gases. We have learned everything about solid, liquid and gases. So now the question is, can matter change its state? That is, can solid change into liquid or liquid into gas, or can solid into gas? This is the question now. So here, by if we see the water, for example, water will exist in three forms, that is ice, water and water vapor. So when it is existing in the form of, it is in the form of solid, and when it is in the form of water, it is a liquid, and when it is in the form of water vapor, it is a gas. So from this, and we can convert ice into water or water into water vapor. So from this known example we can say that matter can change its state. But how it will change its state? It can change its state by changing temperature or pressure. So for example, if you see in our daily lives, if you have to convert ice into water, we will remove it from the refrigerator. That means in refrigerator we are having very less temperature. When we are removing it from the freeze, it is attaining normal room temperature. That is, by supplying heat or by increasing temperature, it has changed from solid to liquid. So by doing the variation in temperature or pressure, we are able to change the state of matter. So now first of all, in this we will look into the effect of change of temperature on the state of matter. So here, as you can see, the three different forms of water are: in solid form it exists as ice, in liquid form it exists as water, and in gaseous form it exists as water vapor. So while discussing that the effect of change in temperature or pressure in the state of matter, we will be able to answer all these questions, like what happens inside the matter during this change of state, and what happens to the particles of matter during the change of states. As we have seen in the last one, we know that matter is made up of particles. So we will learn, while changing the state of matter, what will happen to the particles that are present in the matter, and how does this change of state take place. And we will also see how this change from solid to liquid or liquid to gas or solid to gas, whatever it may be, is taking place. So first of all, we will look into the effect of change of temperature on the state of matter. So effect of change of temperature means, here by increasing the temperature or by decreasing the temperature, we are able to change the state of matter. So if you take the ice, for example, by supplying heat energy to that ice, we are able to convert it into liquid form. That is, here we are converting solid form into liquid form by applying or by supplying heat energy to that. So the temperature at which this solid is converted into water is known as the melting point. So this is what the definition of melting point is. The temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure is known as melting point. Similarly, this process of melting is also known as the process of fusion. And the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. That is, for ice, in order to get converted into the form of water, we have to attain the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius. If we are able to attain, when we attain the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, the ice will be automatically converted into the water. Next is, here we have seen that we are supplying heat energy to that. When we are supplying heat energy, the temperature of the system is increasing. So due to this increase in temperature, the forces of attraction between the particles of matter are getting decreased, and due to this, as we can see in solids, that forces of attraction will be more because of the less distance, and in liquids it will be, compared to solids, it will be less, but as compared to gases it will be more. Similarly, in gases it will be very high. So when we are applying the heat energy to that, they are able to move, and the force of attraction between them is getting decreased. So we are able to so when we are supplying the heat energy, we are seeing the temperature increase. But the thing is, when a solid melts, its temperature remains the same. That is, when we are supplying the heat energy, the temperature will be increased till the solid has started to melt into liquid. But once it has started to melt, till the whole solid gets converted into the liquid, the temperature will not change, it will remain same. Then we will have a question like, what will happen to the heat energy that we are supplying? So this heat will be used to in order to overcome the forces of attraction that are present between the particles. And this is known as the latent heat. So we will say that the temperature increase will be there till a solid or liquid starts to become liquid or vapor. But whenever the solid starts to become a liquid, till it becomes liquid, the temperature will not increase, it will remain same. And during this process, whatever be the heat supplied will be used to overcome the forces of attraction or in changing the state. So, and this is known as the latent heat. So when we are converting the solid to liquid, the heat energy that has used to convert the change of state from solid to liquid is known as the latent heat of fusion. So if we look into the definition of latent heat of fusion, the definition is the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of a solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion. So next, for now we have seen the conversion of solid to liquid. So now we will see the liquid to gas conversion. When we are heating the water, or when we are supplying the heat energy to the water will start boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. And the temperature at which it has started to become vapor is known as the boiling point. So the definition of boiling point is the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as its boiling point. And for water, this temperature is 100 degrees Celsius or 373.16 Kelvin. So now, as we have previously seen that in case of solid to liquid also, whenever the ice has started to become a liquid, the temperature remains same. Same case happens in this case also, liquid to vapor conversion. Whenever the liquid has started converting to vapor, the temperature will remain same, it will not increase. And the heat energy which we are supplying during this process will be used in overcoming the forces of attraction or in changing the state. And this heat is known as the latent heat of vaporization in this case. So latent heat of vaporization definition is the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of liquid to vapor or gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is known as the latent heat of vaporization. So now we have seen that solid to liquid conversion and liquid to gas conversion we have seen. But in some cases, directly from solid to liquid gas conversion will be there without attaining the liquid state. One example of such is camphor. Camphor, as we can see in our daily household while doing puja, we will use that. So camphor, in case of camphor or ammonium chloride, what happens is when we have supplied the heat energy to that, it will be directly converted into the gaseous form. without attaining liquid form. And this process of converting solid into gas into solid into gas directly or gas into solid directly is known as the sublimation. So if you look at the definition of sublimation here, a change of state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state or vice versa is called sublimation. So example is camphor. Next, we can see the overview of the conversion of states of matter. Here the forces of attraction in the solid case are the distance between the particles. In the case of solid is very less. When we have applied heat or supplied heat energy to that, the forces of the distance between the particles has increased and it has converted into the liquid form. Again, on applying heat to this liquid water, the distance between them has increased furthermore and it has got converted into vapor. So solid to liquid and liquid to gas we are able to convert by applying heat energy. Similarly, reverse process can also happen, that is from gas to liquid and liquid to solid. So gas to liquid we can convert by supplying or by reducing the heat energy or by cooling that. Similarly, liquid to solid also we can do by cooling that. As we can see daily in our households, we can get ice cubes by keeping the water in refrigerator. That means by cooling the water we are getting the solid. That is, we are able to attain solid state from liquid state by cooling it. So these processes are reversible, that is by supplying heat energy we can convert solid to liquid. Similarly, by reducing or by cooling the liquid we are able to get solid state. This is all about the effect of change of temperature on states of matter. Next we will discuss the effect of pressure on the states of matter. Thank you.